I don't get in anyone's medical situation, and he's going to take a day to day. He's going to work, to get back as quickly as he can, like any player who's dealing with something. Obviously, he's on IR, so it's a minimum of 3 weeks, and we'll just, we'll take it, you know, day to day. So I know you want to. I understand the question. I don't like giving timelines for a number of reasons. I've had injuries, I've had setbacks, so I tell you it's 3 weeks, and then it's not 3 weeks, and everybody's wondering what happened. So that's the reasoning why I don't give timelines. Because I personally had injuries and personally had setbacks, so that's kind of the thought process on that.
Coach, I know it's just week 2, but a win would put you 2 games off Buffalo with a tiebreaker. Getting these division wins early in the season, knowing that you're coming back or you're going to visit Buffalo later, how big would that be?
I mean, our focus right now is on the preparation. Buffalo is a very good team. Obviously, they were in the AFC Championship a year ago. They got a lot of good players, a lot of good coaches. Um, they'll be ready to go. So we've got to prepare in all 3 phases, situations, and we got to play. We got to have very high execution to have success against this particular team, which is a very good team.
Obviously, last time you guys played them, it didn't go so well for you. What can you take from that game as you kind of prep for this?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't go so well. But last year was last year, just like last week was last week, and we're focused on right now. We're focused on today. We're focused on our preparation. Obviously, we've studied the game. There were a lot of things we didn't do good enough. We're trying to make those corrections and not make those mistakes again. But so they've got some new players. So do we. So it's different. It's we're starting from scratch, from that standpoint. And it's about the preparation this week.
The difficulties a quarterback like Josh Allen possesses, where he can use his arm and use his legs. Just how do you contain something like that?
Yeah, I mean he's a very talented player, and he's improved incredibly over the course of his career. He's got a lot of confidence. He's got total command of the offense. He has autonomy to make changes at the line of scrimmage. He can throw it. He can run it. They got good backs. They got good receivers. They got good skill all over the field. They got a good team. So it's about communication. It's about everyone handling their assignment, their responsibility, playing team football, tackling well, and having good execution overall as a team. So, that's a tall task, and this is a good team. So we got to prepare, and that starts with preparation. We can talk about it all we want, but we got to prepare the right way. We got to practice the right way, and just to have an opportunity to have success on the field.
Brian, with Buffalo's ability to kind of disguise how they blitz, what kind of onus is on Tua's ability to kind of create outside of the structure and improvise, as a play develops?
I mean, they do. You're right. They do a very good job of disguising. That's not just a one-person situation. If our receivers need to know, what the coverage is, the backs need to know what the coverage is. The line's looking at some of that stuff too, as far as some things from a protection standpoint. So it's a team, and I think to say, yeah, Tua's a big part of that. There's no doubt about that. He's got to have good awareness and good overall knowledge of what could or couldn't happen, or may or may not happen, I should say. But it's everyone's involved in that, and we really need everyone on the same page. Tua can know if somebody else doesn't know, it still doesn't work. So I mean, to put it on one person, I think is unfair. But with that said, as a team, we that's what we're gonna have to all prepare and be on the same page if we want to be able to execute.
Brian, does the process of making corrections, does it differ coming off a win as opposed to a loss when you're asking guys to be self-critical, even though there's that happy feeling coming off?
I don't think so. I think corrections are corrections. I think we've got to And I think our guys are open to that. They understand that. They want to get better. They want to hear the critiques, and they want to play better and help this team win. So we try to make the corrections, but every week's a little bit different. We're going to see some things that are different this week than we saw last week. So some of the corrections that were made, against a fullback in the game, we may not see as many of those plays this week. So, hopefully somewhere down the road when we do, see a fullback or a big fullback team, they hopefully will remember the corrections from week one. But that's the game, and we try to get them to rely on their fundamentals, their techniques, their rules, and when they make a mistake on one of those areas, we try to correct it, and then hopefully there's some recall the next time that situation arises.
What do you think of Tre'Davious White?
Very good player, good cover corner, good tackler, good ball skills. Very good player, Hard to get open against that guy.
Flo, Mike Gesicki getting 21 offensive snaps. Do you envision utilizing him more often moving forward? And was it a matchup thing against New England?
I mean, there's so many things that go into that question. I mean, there's, situation, matchups. There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, they had the ball for 36 minutes in the game, so we don't really have that many offensive snaps. So, there's a lot that goes into it. We had a lot of different groups. Mike's in on a number of them. He's not in on some. The down distance situation can play into how much a player does or doesn't play. It's the same really across the board, offense, defense, and in the kicking game. So, I mean, we had 21 kicking game snaps. It's normally 30. So, all those guys' kicking game numbers were down too. So, there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously we have a great deal of confidence in Mike and think he can make some plays for us. And we'll try to put him in positions to do that. But look, every game's a little bit different.
Brian, I know last week we were talking about just kind of facing a rookie quarterback in Mac Jones and what you can do there. You said that your philosophy is, or your thought process is always to impact the quarterback. And normally you think that means the blitz, but I mean, is there kind of also an understanding that maybe you can do that in other ways, not necessarily blitzing, maybe it's causing coverages and getting the impression that you're going to blitz? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, all that's part of potentially affecting the quarterback, the offense. So you can blitz them, you can not blitz them, you can send 8, you can drop 8, you can do a variety of things, split safety, post safety. I mean, there's fire zone, you can do a lot of things. So, but at the end of the day, you got to do what you think you do well. Somebody asked me to go out there and play man coverage, it's not going to go very well, just because it might be a good disguise doesn't, it's not going to work out. I'll tell you that right now. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you think you do well as a team, and that's what we're always going to try to do.
Regardless of the timeline with Raekwon, are we looking at surgery or standard rehab?
Again, I don't get into people's, medical situations, surgeries, things like that. I mean, I think it's just common courtesy to, stay away from people's medical situations. I mean, that's just, if Raekwon wants to talk about that, he can, but I'm not going to.
Brian, I'm sorry to follow up on that. Can you say definitively though that the injury is not season-ending?
Look, he's gonna take it day to day. That's what he's gonna do. That's what I ask our players to do on a daily basis, whether it's on really anything. So he's gonna take it day to day. He's gonna rehab it, and it's IR, so it's a minimum of 3 weeks, and we'll see after that.
How are Austin Jackson and Adam Shaheen doing?
Good. Adam will be back today. Austin's back. They'll both be at practice, and
Today's the start of Hispanic Heritage Month, and happens to be Independence Day in Honduras as well. Can you share a little bit of those core values that still help you to this day as part of a Hispanic household?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously I grew up in in a Hispanic household. My parents, and that's well, it's a family environment. So aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone's at the house. We spend a lot of time together. We eat dinner together. Um, it's something that's very important to me. I do it now with my family, and yeah, I mean that's very important to me. So
Brian, this is a little bit open-ended, but what does Will Fuller's return do for this offense?
I mean, I think today will be his first day back. After off of last week, and um, he's had some practice time with us. Um, we'll know what more to expect after we practice and get into it a little bit. If we're just going to go off of past history, it's obviously he's had some production in this league. He's got speed. He's a good route runner, and we'll practice today and see how it goes, and make a determination on who plays, how much people play, and if we think he can help us, then we'll be out. He'll be out there.
Well, specifically, I guess, and I know you said you got to see him at practice, but is he kind of a counter against a Bills defense that traditionally doesn't give up big plays, given his history as just a deep play or big play kind of guy?
Can you repeat the question?
Is he kind of a counter to the Bills defense, that traditionally doesn't give up deep passes? Like, given Will Fuller's history, is he like an answer to that?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of layers to that. So again, if you're gonna create any type of positive play, it's not just one person. It's the entire team. It's the O line. It's the backs. It's the tight ends blocking. It's the quarterback throwing an accurate ball. It's it's not just send a player out there and there's a big play. So I understand your question in that he's had some explosive plays over the course of his career, but there's just a lot that goes into it, and I don't think it just he's in and it's automatic. So there's a lot we have to do as a team to kind of create those. A lot of execution that has to be made to create those types of plays, especially against a defense like this, who like you said doesn't give up a lot of or limits big plays. So yeah, we're gonna have to execute, and we'll see how Will does in practice. We'll see how all the receivers do in practice, and at the end of the day, we'll put the guys in there we think will help us move the ball down the field and get first downs and try to create some chunk plays.
Sorry about that. We've all seen Albert Wilson's upside over the years, of course, in between his injuries and years off and stuff like that. How confident are you that he's going to be able to get back to that, key contributor, game in and game out type guy? What are your thoughts on his development so far to
Yeah,
get back to that?
He's done a good job, or he did a nice job in training camp. Again, he was another guy who missed some time due to injury. Worked his way back, got back out there. I think it was some 10, 12 days ago. Had a good week of practice last week, and we're just trying to string good days together. And we had him in the game at the game last week, and again, it's a new week, and our preparation on Buffalo is obviously ongoing, and he'll be part of that, and his role will be what he makes it.
Rewatching Sunday's game, a play that jumped out to me was late in the game when Tua hit Devontae Parker on a slant. I think it was a 1st and 14. He was about on his goal line. What about the aggressiveness from the play caller and quarterback in that situation, considering it might have been easy to just run the ball in that spot? What are your thoughts on aggressiveness in spots like that?
I think I talked to the team this morning and said that we were done, with last week. We kind of really focused on Buffalo. We always want to be aggressive, and I think that's just, I think, you need to be, especially in that situation. And we're going to need to be against Buffalo. We are. We're going to need to be against Buffalo.
I cringe asking this then because it's not really a matter, but how much can Liam playing the way he did, how much can that accelerate a young kid's growth? How much can that kind of fast track, not to say skipping steps, but how much can that opportunity help him?
I think you know, playing in games, regular season games, and preseason games. I think that gives you, every play is an experience, and it's good or bad. It's an experience, and it's one that you can learn from. I think he definitely learned about the speed of the NFL game, the power of the NFL game, and I thought, I think he probably gained some confidence in some of the things he did in the game, and we want to build on that. We build on that today in practice. There's a lot of things we got to get better at. A lot of situations we got to get better at. Our awareness on some things has to be better. I think he understands that too, and he's working at it.
Brian, it's not every day that you see a first-round draft pick of a year ago inactive for a team. What does Noah have to do to get back in uniform and on the field on Sundays? How close is he to that spot?
I mean, I thought he had a good training camp. I think, at the end of the day, you can only bring so many players to the game. Some guys have to be inactive, by league rule. Last week it was him, and we'll see how it goes in practice. And we have to have inactive players. That's per league rule. So he'll continue to work hard. He's a hard-working kid. It's important to him. But we're going to do what we feel is best for the team.
Last question. Sula's development as far as how he goes through his progressions, second, third, fourth read.
I think he's a young player who is getting better every time he steps on the field, and that's in a lot of areas. That's calling the play, reading defenses, and his decision making, his progressions. I think it's all getting better, and I think it's getting better.